Hello guys, my name is Joe Costa and welcome back to our video series where we do a revision kind of quiz thing using Python and MySQL. In the last videos we created a database, we connected it with Python, but today we're actually going to begin to do is the login process for all this. So the first thing I guess we need to do is we need to actually create a table for login information. So let's just go on to over here MySQL Workbench. Let's load that up so we can begin some of our lovely database editing. And here we are. Let's now just open up. And here we are. Okay, so in the last video we created was our question table, but in this video we're going to actually need to do some login information. Now we can either create is a teacher and student table individually, or we could create is a login sort of table, and then utilize that and put a role, teacher or student. Now, there's two ways of doing this. This was very interesting. We can either do either of these ways. Let's start off. Yeah, let's just put teacher. I think maybe yes. Maybe we should just do a teacher table. Yeah, we're going to do a teacher table or staff table. I can just call it staff. It doesn't need to be. Oh yeah, you can also change its characters over here, but we'll just keep the default. We're going to put over here, just put username. Username will be the primary key. It's not. We'll put that as a varchar, and we'll put that as a varchar 45. Can't be bigger than 45. It has to be unique. Yes. Let's say yeah, that's fine. And then we can put over here just a password, and over here. Sure, we can actually limit it to just be maximum 32 characters. Let's do that. And let's do that. Let's delete that, and yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that seems all fine to me. Let's apply. Go. And apply. And finish. So now we've finished, we can now actually come over here onto the table and actually add in some information to it. Come on. Sort the I, always click on the wrong thing. So this one. Yes, this one of it. It's this little table with a lightning bomb. Username, I'm going to put over here to go Costa, and my secret password will be admin, because it's so secure, very secure password. It doesn't matter. So there we go. So now we've got that data, let's actually begin doing stuff with Python. So let's start off by actually putting over here the if statement, if name equals main. Oh, what's this? No. And it's with double underscores, and this is just convention in Python. It's just if the file name, the underscore name underscore is just like the name of the. I'm going to describe this. It's just a variable given to Python. It's a name variable, and usually if it's the main file, it will have the name main. Just print. Yes, it's convention. So what you do over here is you'll put over here all the functions you like to run. You put it all underneath it. For example, it's like your main function in C# or Java. You put all the functions you like to run inside of it here. So it keeps it nice and neat. Instead of having to put it at the end of this file, you can just simply locate this if statement, and you just put all your functions inside there. So if we print over here underscore name underscore, print that. As you can see over here, it's underscore main underscore, and we're just checking if that's true, then do everything underneath. And one of the first things we want to do is actually want to say def get login. And what we do over here is we say over here get login. We're actually going to return something. We're going to return over here login success equals get login. Actually, no. We're going to say username, comma, password, actually. Because over here we're actually going to request the user actually input. Let's get rid of that, we don't need that. We actually request over here that the user, so I guess it should actually be put the input login instead, actually. And then we say over here, okay, so we say over here, username is equal to input, username, then password is equal to input, let me just say over here, password. Then if we return these things, if we're trying to do username, comma, password, and that's also then print it off of here and let's see if it works. Username plus password. Username, let's put Diogo Costa. Password, admin. Got an error, what's the error? We have a what? Cursor.close. We go and put this inside the if statements. Well, actually, this all of this should actually then be inside the if statement. Now, since this is all that runs, this is all that's carrying, and we don't necessarily need these cursors working, but let's just continue anyway. Let's try this again. Dio Costa and admin. What's going on over there? Let's try to read this. Line 21. Over here. We're complaining about this. The cursor. The cursor's not closing. Interesting. Why is the cursor not closing? What if let me uncomment out this code and let's see if that fixes the issue. Yeah, I need to close this. Yep, need to. Still getting that issue. Should be working. Cursor. Cursor.close. Oh, unread results found. Okay. No. It's because we're querying the database, but we have not outputted any results. We're not actually looped through them. That's what's complaining. So it's like, what's the point then? I guess. Okay, no worries. Uncomment that. We'll deal with that later. Okay. So there you go. D equals to admin. Okay, that works. So we're getting that information. Good. Because now we actually need to verify. So we need to actually, let's actually say authenticate login. We have to call it authenticate login. And we're going to, okay. Here we're just going to put here passing over here the username. No, technically you don't actually need to actually say that passing in the username and password since these have become global variables. But just do that so any programmer knows that, okay, so we know which variables it's taken in. It's just, although the inheritance is not necessary, the passing of variables to another function is not necessary, it's just very clear to see what this function is supposed to be doing. It makes it more clear. We could also describe each function by doing this and typing over here and closing that off. You could. That's what a lot of modules, if you ever opened up a module, you'll see is that there'll be blocks of comments and what that function does. So authenticate. So that means we actually need to check out. Is the database and get that information. So we need to go through. So we need to create a cursor. We'll create a cursor over here. Now, there's connection dot cursor. Then we'll say over here query is equal to, and for now we will select is only the staff table, but in the future we will of course want to select the other tables as well, and we want to select everything. We want to get everything, of course, from the staff. Of course, that can change in the future. We might not wish to get everything in the future. We might just want to get the username and password, but for now we can just get everything. And we're going to say here cursor.execute. And then we're also going to say here the cursor.close. But we have to do something over here in the middle. And over here in the middle is where we have to actually have to look through the data and actually, see if the password is at all equal, and stuff. So we're going to go through the for login, call it login info. For login info, or you can just call it for login. For login in cursor. Oh yeah. Also, make sure you put the query over here so the cursor knows what to exactly execute. For login in cursor, let's print out the login. Let's just print out the login. It's always going to ask me for this. But then, okay, so we've got the two pieces of information. We've got the dcoster and admin. Now, what if we put over here, I want the zeroth element. Let's see what happens. We got dcoster only. And what if we want now is also the password. That will be login1, because in Python and in most programming languages, apart from I think programming languages such as Lua, we start count from 0 and not from 1. Because guess what 0 is an actual number. And there we go, we've got dcoster and admin. Great. So those working. So that's working fine. Okay. So what we can say over here is we can say we can just store into these into variables, I guess. So we can write over here usernames. I guess we should actually what we could actually do we could, so there are two ways on that we could actually, there are two ways we can actually approach this. We can either actually get all the login details and then check them, put them into a list and then check them, or we could just query the database about our login details in the first place. We could just do that. So why don't we do that? I think that seems much better. It's a quicker way, because we're not having to import all of this data into Python and then Python sorting it out. No, let's let the database do that. Let's let the database do that over there in the world, in the web, somewhere in the cloud. Let that database work that out and then retrieve us with a result. Let's do it like that. So we want to select star from staff where, and this is where we want to actually we want to say over here. Okay, so we want to say select star from staff where. So select star from where. We want to say where the username. That's it. The username is equal to. Over here, what we're going to put here is we're going to put over here percentage sign and s. I'll show you why later. And where password is equal to, and we're going to do the same thing, percentage sign s. Over here in the query, we're going to put over here comma, and what you got over here is parameters tulip. So put over here tulip, what we're creating over here, and we want to get what we want to pass down is username and password. So all that'll do is this a way of formatting it. So instead of me going over here, speech mark plus, then speech mark again, I could just do percentage sign s, and that'll just format it. That'll just replace, okay, percentage sign s is supposed to be username, and percentage sign s over here as well is supposed to be password. That means we can then get rid of this, potentially. But for now, let's just keep that and let's see what happens. Just keep that. See if we get any errors with that. So let's put over dcoster and admin. We get dcoster and admin is what we got apparently. Does that work then? Select star 009 pass. What if we try and put in some random crap? Let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay. What if we put over here? Now, if you realise, I put dcoster without the capital D or capital C, but it still recognised it as a valid result. It still recognised it. That's very interesting that I did that. Now, let's say if we capitalise the password. So if I capitalise the password, which is incorrect, it still accepted it. Now, that's a quick, should it really be accepting that? Should it really be accepting it? That is a good question. We probably do not want it to actually accept that. So the solution to this is one where we have to come over here to the MySQL workbench. Over here, what we have to do is, if you notice over here on its character set, we can see it's got UTF-8 default collation. The username, it's got table default, and the password's also got the table default. Now we want to actually keep the username to not be case sensitive, because to me it shouldn't really matter if it's uppercase or lowercase d, or the password. That's what's important, and that's what should remain case sensitive. So we can actually specifically make that case sensitive by changing the character set of the collation. We do that by going over here to table default, and we change that to Latin. We change to general CS. So Latin general, case sensitive. Select that, we click on apply, and we're finished. If you show here, we can show here the log, what's happened. We've altered the table, we've changed the column password to the character set Latin 1 collate Latin 1 general CS, and finish. Yeah. So now if I go try 5, I do lowercase Diogo Costa, and do uppercase admin, we've got an issue. If I do over here uppercase Diogo Costa, admin normal, no problem. So it was working the way we intended to. So now we've got that all working, what we may wish to do is we now don't need to actually output any result, but we need to actually return whether they were successful or not. So we could do that by, you can see over here, let's print over here the length of the cursor. Print over here the length of the cursor. Diogo Costa, admin. We go over here, we get an error. Cursor has no length. Okay, great. So how can we check if whether any results were executed? How can we actually check that? Well, what we could do is we could say over here, let's get results, and let's equal that to cursor.fetchAll. Now, if we actually let's type that up again, because I want to see what the tell says about it. The fetchAll function. Do we have any? I don't know if any more information appears from it. fetchAll. fetchAll, it just lists you, returns all rows of the query result set, and tells you multiple times because they're different functions you can use. But yeah, returns a list of tuples, so it returns all the results to you. So if we then over here come over here and print out the results, you'll notice something a bit different to when we print out for a for loop. Oh, results is not results, not results. Oh, admin. So what you notice of it, instead of being just in these curly brackets, or these, do you call them curly? These brackets, we also got here some square brackets, and that indicates us a list. So there's a list of tuples has been generated, and what we can actually see is, instead of us actually printing, let's try and see if we can actually get the length of that. Somehow we wanted the length of the cursor, but that didn't work, so let's try and see if we can get the length of the list, which we should be able to. First of all, let's actually try and print out the length to see if we're getting the results we want. So close that. There we go. Diogo Costa, admin. We give here 1. That is correct. There is 1 login detail. Now, if we go over here, Diogo Costa, and type in admin incorrectly, 0. Fantastic. So that means we can just simply do over here is an if statement. First of all, let's actually also close off the cursor. Let's get the result, but then let's close off the cursor. We don't want the cursor. If, so we're going to say if the result, if the length result is greater than 0, there is an actual result, then let's return true. Return true. Else, return false. Because then what we can simply do over here is we can say if this function returns us a true, then continue. Else, just quit. Let's just quit. So let's try that. Diogo Costa, admin. No problem. How about Diogo Costa? And also, we got no problem. The quit doesn't really work under console. Oh, let's close that. So why don't we actually try to do a printing instead, saying incorrect. If we do a printing, we might actually see something. So we can verify that this is actually working. Right? You're in. Keyboard's messing around with me today. You're in. Diogo Costa. Admin. You're in. Excellent. Diogo Costa. Admin. Incorrect. Okay. So it seems to be working quite nicely. Next, what we could potentially do next is do a student. But for now, let's actually focus on the teacher aspect, the staff member. So that'll be it for this video. But in the next video, what we will actually begin doing is actually creating a menu after login, and actually begin doing is a little question editor where you're able to add questions and stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you'd like to see the next video, subscribe to make sure that you do get a notification. And see you guys next time. Goodbye.